Alright, so the pool of reflection is a wiki. That's what it is. It's a wiki. It's a new project um, of mine. I feel that in online conversations over time, that I've had them for decades now, they come into these sections a few years at a time. Often the community falls apart or the website goes out of business or whatever. It's kind of clear you have to move on. In this case, not so clear to me, but it has become clear that I need to move on. Not to leave this side or anything in particular like that, but just to move on. Um, so I created this wiki. I was discussing it a little and sticking with Gary. He had a good point that he has the desire that is really why we have this kind of a tool. I'd love to create a custom website for this, but we could start off with a wiki and make some wiki bots to enhance it. But the idea is we go around and around in circles, and it's not so much that we need to find agreement, but what we do is we find disagreements. Little principles, and it's like, oh, I don't believe in that. I do believe in that. We might agree on politics. We might disagree. We search, and whether we agree or disagree, we come to these other more fundamental things that we draw our agreements from. Do you believe in free will? Do you believe life is good or positive, neutral? And we need a place to record those, to go back. And it's not even so much that people will read it, but also just for ourselves, so that we have a reference. And when you create an article in the wiki, it has a name. You start to have a terminology to discuss it. And that's the purpose that facts originally, or not originally, but also serve. They're not just for people that want to read the fact and find the answer. They're for the people that keep having to answer the same question over and over, and they can go and cut and paste from the fact and eventually say, read the fact. So the idea in here is that these articles will be arguments. Unlike the Wikipedia, you're supposed to have a point of view in these arguments, and the article should only be edited by those that either have a sympathetic point of view or at least can muster a claim to be wording things as if they were sympathetic to the point of view. And if you disagree with something, you don't edit the article to show that. You merely add a rebuttal. We have templates, wiki templates, for those of you who know what that is. Some of you might not have any idea, but whatever, you could learn or ignore. For adding these rebuttals and fact checks. So if you want to fact check, there's a template. You say fact check, and then the name of your fact check, boom, it'll add it into the namespace, so that a fact check of an article on cause and effect would be, John's theory of cause and effect / fact check / somebody's fact check. Oh, no, it's not really true, that XYZ. Or, yes, that turns out to be true. And let's see, I might as well go there. I'll give the URL, of course, because I want you to feel free to help with this project. Otherwise, I'm just storing my thoughts in public, but of course, I'm used to that. So yeah, you can annotate articles. We're using the namespace feature, so we can easily extend this. And like I say, we'll have Wikipedia bots, media wiki bots, because this is it's hosted at Wikia, and it's a media wiki, the same software that runs Wikipedia. It's pretty full featured. We can add other things. Right now, I have templates for giving annotations on articles for fact check, rebuttals, agreements, and general related stuff. I added, but it's not in this list I'm reading from, an analysis subspace. We discussed the terms, something like something like cause and effect. There's an article and then a whole list of different competing arguments, propositions of how that term should or is defined. The idea is any proposition can go in here, because that makes it debatable. So if you think you have a dogmatic idea, you can put it in, because we're going to debate it. You want to put in your idea that's not really debatable, put that in. We can debate that too. Eventually everything gets debated. So it's sort of a philosophy wiki in general, but there is sort of, since everything's taken as debatable, and there's a structure for that, it is my intention that I'm, kickstarting this thing and booting it up with a certain sort of inherent relativism in that sense. So it's called reflectopedia.wikia.com. I'll put the URL on the side because it's a quick upload, auto upload, so I can't overlay it as easy. It's not as good to annotate, right? It's better if you can put it in the video. So that's Reflectopedia, and it's called The Pool of Reflection. It opens with a sort of phantasmagorical poetic statement about the pool of reflection and the metaphor. It's the same thing I read in the other video. But below that, in the quick start, where we have the three of the first articles that I put in place, um, the claim that this is a rational, reasonable effort. So let's see, how much longer do I have? Okay, good. So the first articles I have for the quick start, I have the objective suffering theory, which I have put Immanentum's theory of value in. My trying to state it in a way you'd agree with, because the rebuttals can go in the rebuttal space. I have an article I've done on the classic law, a definition of cause and effect, which is the classic law of cause and effect, which I'm calling single consequence cause and effect. And I've added something called the theory of willpower, which is my version of the free will debate, where freedom implies unfettered freedom to people, and so it's not really a question of free and unfree will, but a question of willpower and strong and weak wills, and your will being stronger or weaker than it could or had been in a given situation. So, I'd love people to enter in here, and I expect that in the connections of the arguments that a new school of philosophy can emerge. So check it out. I'll put the link over in the side.